coming draft. But just going back to my first point, I think Cloud9 just wants to stay in their comfort zone. Let's talk about who lost today. Mousesports lost in the best of 3 because in the final 2 game, in fact, they gone away from their aggressive early game strategy to more of like a farming.
A passive Naga kind of game.
Yeah, and it's not like they couldn't play it well, but that's not their bread and butter. Same thing with Empire. Game 3, they went for a Morphling, Storm, farming kind of game. Didn't go well for them either.
I think when you're on a stage like this and you're under the pressure and you're like, okay, what is everyone else doing? You know, and then you kind of start to doubt yourself and doubt your normal style.
Right.
And then you go back to what other people, this is exactly what.
Yeah, this is exactly what they do.
Yeah.
Highlight with Mirana from Sing Sing. This is their comfort zone. And this is kind of what you want to see if you're a Cloud9 fan. Now for Alliance, jack of all trades, jack of many trades. How does that phrase go?
Yeah, jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, master of many.
What?
Technically not how the phrase goes.
No,
but
I was going to say, that's actually not the phrase.
But that's how Alliance is, right?
Okay,
They do everything very, very well.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. I think Cloud9 playing their comfort zone is actually what James said that he wanted him to do, like pick Mirana for Sing Sing and things like that. So I think it's obviously a step in the right direction. When your back is against the wall, you do what you do best.
Sure.
You know? So I think that's definitely a good thing. But Alliance are a team who can throw almost anything at you. So to say that the Wisp Mirana is a good start, because obviously it is, it doesn't necessarily then mean that Alliance are going to be taken back by anything like this either.
Does the nerf to Batrider affect his jungling? Like as?
Not really. I think a lot of Batriders still max Firefly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't really slow you too badly.
All right.
If you're jungling, you want to max Firefly, so that nerf is not doing much. I think the only thing it affects is you go into a lane, you probably get level 2, like level 1 Napalm, level 2 Firefly, and then you get killed like once or twice, and you're like, man, I can't stay in this lane anymore. I start to jungle. At that point, at that particular moment where you have like 1 and 1, for example, in 2 skills, it slows you down by a tiny bit. But again, it's not looking anything to write home about. But Treant Protector gets picked up again. I feel like a lot of teams today, Empire, Cloud9 also, has fallen prey to the fact that they could never destroy a tier 1 tower.
Yeah.
Thanks to this guy.
Like nearly 20 minutes in, Alliance had all of their towers.
Yep.
I think there's something to be said for how Alliance in particular play the hero, because they usually draft these teams where they feel very comfortable taking it past 30 minutes, and Treant just gives you so much more when you're playing in that position if you still have your tier 1s, right? So I think personally that Treant's one of the best heroes that Alliance play. I think Notel actually mentioned it earlier too, like get rid of the tree. But whatever Alliance plan on doing with the tree, you know almost certainly that they want to try to play from ahead, because that's where tree functions the best.
Yes.
You keep your towers alive forever, and you're never going to be able to chip a tower down. So not sure exactly how they plan on doing it, but they might go for good laning. They might go for some kind of mid game. You just never know.
Good laning is how they've been doing it today. Because if you look at all of the Treant games, Treant never fall behind levels. Last game we were pointing out Treant was like level 6 when we were checking out some of the supports on Cloud9 where they're hitting level 3.
Yeah.
Even when they go offensive tri-lane, which is what we saw Alliance did against Empire earlier, they got like 2 kills roaming around.
They kind of did it in the last game as well, but they like changed it up nearly.
Right. So I think the priority number 1 for Treant is to get ahead in terms of levels and make sure that your living armor is actually a thing instead of just...
We haven't really been seeing much Nyx in this tournament at all.
Nyx Assassin.
Yeah. And I think against the lineup Alliance have so far, a Nyx Assassin for Bone 7 would go pretty well.
I think so. I think Nyx is one of those heroes that does very well against heroes like Darkseer, because the mana burn just hurts so much. Stormseer isn't one of those heroes. Same thing with like Puck. But we haven't seen so many of those heroes as well, so maybe Nyx as a counterpick to that is
well, it's also a counterpick to Batrider.
To Batrider, I agree. Yeah, so I think if you want to go Wisp as well as Nyx, you really lock Batrider down.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, you always have to keep in mind, like,
they banned it on themselves.
Yeah, they actually take out the Nyx, but whenever you're trying to lane that hero, it's actually relatively difficult to do it, I think, in a lot of cases. And
if you straight up buy a Perman shield and get pulled 2 tangles,
you are pretty annoying.
No, you can't harass them out of the lane. Like it's the base regen on the Perman shield supports the just click.
I think Tree will still try to right click you though, and Trey right clicks with you.
Okay, yeah.
There's that, and there's that Darkseer. So that's why they banned out the Nyx.
Yeah.
They secured themselves a Darkseer pick. Also, the Silencer ban, not just Alliance hero, but we've seen the Bat Silencer combo.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Guarantees 1 kill for sure.
It was Empire that were picking it, wasn't it?
Yeah, Empire was the first one that I've seen done it, but I'm sure other teams have been playing with it. Also, Treant Protector plus global is like, well, your team is not doing anything.
It's true. It's definitely true. I think, like with Cloud9, what they're doing right now, it's so versatile, but Alliance are not really missing a step in that department, and they pick one of the best heroes in the business at making a Darkseer's life absolute hell, which is Disruptor. So normally, a Darkseer can get a lot out of any situation. Like you can go back to the jungle if your lane's going bad. You can go to the off lane, and you can lane against heroes that can't really zone you. But against a tree and Disruptor, he's going to be forced to go woods, I think, pretty early on.
Yeah.
I mean, if Alliance do like a safe short lane, and they do 3 heroes down there, there's no way the Darkseer can show his face.
Agreed. The other thing that Disruptor adds to Alliance is against relocates. I
Yep.
mean, if you see that circle on the ground, you could drop a Static Storm if there's a very dangerous combo that's coming in. You could glimpse either Wisp or the other hero
partner,
back.
yeah.
So it really is difficult to play against Disruptor.
And it also stops the counter pick, because I think Disruptor is one of the best heroes against Batrider as well. If when he blinks into Initiate with the lasso,
Yeah.
you just disrupt him back
Or
straight away.
Static Storm him.
Yeah, exactly.
So as per usual, I want to say Alliance in a very comfortable position. Like I feel like they're always drafting well. Aside from the one loss they had against Empire, they're not reacting. They're like, this is what we're picking, you react to us. And that's kind of the confidence that Alliance have.
Oh,
Morphling, Eternal Envy special.
I do like that, though.
in combination with the IO as well.
What do you like about it, in
It's-
particular in this draft?
These heroes on Alliance don't actually kill Morphling. I mean, sure, you could say Disruptor, if he gets the jump, he might be able to kill a Morphling. But otherwise, it's going to be an extremely tanky target. Shane mentioned the overcharge that gives you even more damage reduction on top of that. I don't think that Cloud9 are going to have any issues sending their Darkseer to the woods, depending on what their last hero is going to be, which means you're looking at potentially kind of an early mech too. I just think that Cloud9 have an all-around, well-versed lineup that can fight, they can go for ganks, they can even take it a bit late if they want to. We haven't seen what Alliance are going to pick for core heroes yet. We know the Bat's going to be mid, sure, but we haven't seen what Bulldog's playing.
I don't know, if the back could be 1v1 as well. I think
Yeah,
Bulldog can play it like in the off lane or a solo safe lane.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely. So they can pick a mid and a carry, or 2 cores, or an off lane and a core.
If you're going against Morphling IO mid, like what kind of stuff are you looking at? You're looking for someone who kind of stays alive?
I thought Tide did a pretty exceptional job at that.
Okay, and tied against Morphling with the base damage and the reduction for 60%. I think
Yeah, it's pretty solid, but the one thing, if you pick a Tide, you need to pick a really good damage output carry, right? Because then you have a team of 4 heroes who do okay damage, but not great. You need like a Glass Cannon, I think, is your last pick if that's going to be the choice. Because then you have like Overgrowth, Ravage, and then you have Disruptor ulti and Lasso. So you have so much disable that I think you can get away with picking a really damage-oriented one hero.
Just want to throw a hero out there. Anti-Mage.
I was about to say that.
Oh,
Or Slark. I mean, I mentioned this
Okay.
hero in the particular Empire series. A hero that could kind of clutch on, do a ton of damage. Great against Surge, great against Mirana.
No lockdown on this team either of Cloud9,
Yeah.
like none. I mean, an arrow is it.
Vacuum Arrow is the only thing I can think that can stop him.
That's really drawing straws. in
Yeah,
the back
it
here,
is,
yeah.
it is.
I mean, Morphling Shotgun versus Slark, what's your thought on that, Andy?
I think that Shotgun is only good on Slark, or against Slark, if you instantly kill him. Because
Which
if
is pretty
he-
rare.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever be in that game where you're so much more farm than the other team's core that you can just straight up instantly kill him. Because Slark's innately, like outside of Loda, who I guess kind of patented the Blink Slark, you're going to have quite a bit of stats, and he will get stats eventually. I think he goes like Scotty often
Yes,
as well.
Blink,
after
I
his
have
Blink.
Scotty, yeah.
So he's going to be really tanky, and if he gets the ult off, you're not killing him. Like that's just the end of it. So
He doesn't even really need a BKB in this game, I don't think. The only thing to worry about would be Morphling, wouldn't it?
yeah, pretty much.
I think to round out the draft, obviously it depends on what Cloud9 is picking. If you're Alliance, Leshrac.
It is another thing that eats through tree armor pretty well.
This is AUI crying for the hero. This is his favorite hero in the game.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Why does he like it so much?
I don't know.
Okay.
So it's his favorite hero and he's your friend, but you never thought to ask him why.
I
it
asked
was-
him and he said some dumb reason, like, oh, he's so good.
Okay.
So I don't think that's.
What
Is
about
that really a dumb reason? though?
I
'Cause
guess
he's
it's
good?
like it doesn't really explain why he's the favorite.
the
Okay.
vacuum into Leshrac stun?
That's the control.
That's what we were talking about. Split earth with vacuum. I think it's actually not too hard to land.
No?
Because you can actually just look at Leshrac as Darkseer and judge when he's going to land the stun.
So we're 2 seconds in the final pick. It's gonna be a Razor.
Wow.
A hero that honestly doesn't do too bad against a dueling mid.
Yeah, it's true.
They wave in, you'd link them up, and you'd think that you could win the right-click war, but Razor slowly drains your damage and starts killing the Wisp, for example.
Oh, it's going to be S4 Slark.
Oh.
Loda's going to be playing Razor.
This feels like a swapper Reno after picks.
It does, because I don't think I've seen Slark played by S4.
I haven't seen it either.
But we have seen first times in this already, I think, with Loda playing the Brewmaster last game too.
True.
So maybe not the first time, but at the very least one of the first few times. And I have to say, I do like Alliance's draft, but Cloud9 still have some very, very scary damage potential. The burst that they can put out is pretty insane, like if they land all of their abilities in quick succession. So the kill potential is definitely there. Their lanes are strong still. We'll just have to see how each team decides to lane this to really glean who's going to be able to get the early game advantage.
Okay. You think it's going to be another aggressive tri-lane from Alliance?
So it would have to be, what, Tree, Disruptor, Slark?
No, Razor.
Oh, you think with Razor. Yeah, that's right, because, okay, they didn't swap back. It could be. I mean, if you get linked and you get leap seeded,
Yeah.
you could just die.
With the static field as well? Or kinetic field even?
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous stuff, and that would mean that Batrider would be up against Darkseer, which I think he's fine with. And then the Slark would be up against potentially a Morphling Wisp mid.
Which isn't great.
I mean, it's not great for him, but I think it's more about the levels on the Slark.
Yeah.
You know, like you get the max pounce, you get the max Dark Pact, and you know Bulldog's going to get his blink timing relatively well. But as they do that, if they go aggressive, that means they won't be able to stack the jungle either for Bulldog, which usually propels the Batrider to a very early blink.
If he's in a solo lane, does he really need it? Like he can actually like firefly the lane and then just rotate in and go through the small and the medium camp and get that as well as the lane creeps.
Yeah.
And get back in time to not miss any creeps.
I guess it just depends on your performance, right? Like how well you play it. So definitely can still get it early.
Speaking of performance, I think Cloud9 has one of those lineup that you just have to be good. Like Arrow with no setups, Leshrac with no setup. It's going to be tough landing a lot of these stunts, and honestly, they have to. Because if you look, well, Shane is pointing towards Vacuum, but I mean, okay. You know, I guess that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, there's some slippery heroes on the Radiant side. The Slark for one. Batrider. I mean, even Razor moves fairly quickly. And Razor has to boost first, so this is a patented solo mid Razor build. Get the link off and run at him. But yeah, they do the swap back. It's Loda back on the Slark. The world makes sense again.
All right, so it is going to be the safe lane, it looks like, coming out from Alliance. They're not going to go aggressive. Does mean that Bulldog will need his jungle stacked, though, unlike before, where he would have been potentially given a 1v1. And Cloud9 going in with the aggressive invade, trying to get some ward vision down. There is, I think I heard an observer already placed, but that was actually by Bulldog. And inside of the woods, they see S4.
He's going to go for the arrow, is he? The ninja arrow?
It's kind of hard, I think, even if they land an arrow to engage into this, because there's still 3 other members of Alliance standing behind him.
So Bone7 learned Ion Shell first. Does he realize that, like, against Disruptor, it's kind of pointless nearly learning Surge?
I think he just realizes he's starting the jungle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think he goes to lane until he's like level 3 at least. He can just buy a TP, like ferry it to himself. And then if he needs to D-push, he just TPs to the lane after he jungles.
Look at all the boots from Alliance.
Yeah, that's the important thing to point out. I don't think they have go for Sentry. Correct me, I'm wrong here.
oh
no, they bought one. Yeah.
What Aki
Ake
actually
has it, yeah.
Actually, Aki always does that. He waits until he sees the wards being placed.
Such a greedy support. I mean, like, we don't need a D-ward. I could get early boost or something like that.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, I think Treant is probably the scariest character in the game to get a haste. Or Ursa maybe.
At level 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Ake, though, always having to play that 6 role.
He was saying that EGM was up in his game with the wards.
He bought a bit more recently, but it's easier to buy wards when you're ahead, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Just at the end of the game, spam the ward.
when it counts is when you buy wards and you're like 25k gold behind. That's when wards count.
So Bone7 isn't going to the woods actually. He's just double.
I really like what he's doing.
Oh god.
He Iron Shelled really far back when the wave is just pushing out, and then he dropped the second one.
Yeah.
Ensuring, essentially, you're going to get some farm if Loda doesn't deny it. Now, you're not going to get any experience, but you already know that. You're not going to get experience against a tree with a haste tree.
I'm really surprised they actually came to this lane. I don't know if maybe he thinks he can get something. Maybe he just wants to make Loda's CSing a little bit more difficult, but he hasn't, like, Ion Shelling the wave doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. You know?
Oh, that was really cool what Loda did. He actually leaped forward to push the creep wave away from the tower so it wouldn't...
I think he tried to draw the creep wave
yeah,
away.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't take tower damage, yeah.
I mean, I guess he expected Disruptor to not be there. But on the mid lane, looks like we have a wild goose chase for Razor. Razor's dropping fairly low. Not going to get the kill. Kinetic Field is going to be blocking a lot of that. The kill, something that MV told me a long time ago when I was like casting with him and doing a replay cast. It's like if you go for a first blood in that scenario, I don't think he's going to get the kill.
He's just goofing them.
If you go for a first blood like that and you don't get the first blood as a carry, you actually lose a lot. In fact, they're in a little bit of trouble right now. Wisp taking a ton of right click damage. Don't back it off. The courier is just like hanging about. Pylon Ice dropping low. 2 more right clicks. The lack of base armor. The whole time I was thinking, no, they're not going to get the kill.
And neither of them missed. Neither of them missed their uphill attack.
Bulldog gave them the vision with the Firefly, so they were able to attack them uphill.
Swedish land, man. That's Swedish luck.
Yeah.
RNG.
I don't know. That was crazy, though. What a way to get a first blood.
Just run at them.
Casual Batrider comes down from top lane, auto attacks you from like 800 range.
He didn't even have sticky napalm.
Yeah.
He literally ran at them. The boots first, man. I'm telling you.
But Ake also getting the first blood is pretty cool for him. So he goes from having almost no money to the most money. Or not the most, but close. And I think with that, like just losing your Wisp so early on allows S4 to feel a bit of relief here in the middle lane. Like sure, he's not going to get a ton of farm or anything, but the Morphling only has 6 CS comparative to the 6 now of S4.
Oh,
so.
this is bad.
Highlight that trading hits with a double damage. I'm not sure exactly what he's looking for. Maybe he'll tether up the Leshrac for a stun.
Is it, oh,
Hey, guys coming in. Where's the tether movement speed? There you go. The stun, it's not going to land. Levels 1 stun has such a low AoE, or small AoE.
here as well.
He's got Glimpse, and the teleportations are coming in. That's from a Slug. It could be dangerous. They're all trapped in the prison of emotions, and they're going to all die. Wisp is going to be the first one to drop. The tether going to get broken. The Glimpse back here for AI 2000. 4 stacks. It's going to be 5. The stun is going to land, but the dispel of the nukes, wow. 2 early kills. And Loda getting it, what, a 3.5-minute teleport?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's be fair, they went a little ham, okay?
A little
That was
ham?
the second time, I think, in the first 3 minutes of the game that I've seen Cloud9 behind Tier 1 towers. Maybe their priorities aren't exactly straight.
Sure.
And they were chasing a Boots Batrider. I don't know, man. I don't...
And a Boots Razor as well the first time.
I actually have no idea why they would do that.
Especially when Morphling is actually one of the slowest heroes in the game.
Yeah, 285 base move speed. He's a snail. You would think water would be a little bit faster, but no.
Especially going down hills.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll report it to Ice Frog. Morphling now faster going down hills. But
What?
that kind of advantage, though, giving it away to Alliance like this, like your dual lane is supposed to be winning mid for you, not chasing a hero behind a tier 1 and dying. And then dying again.
Not Pie's day.
S4's gone for a bottle. I think that's early game aggression. Like usually you'd see Midas maybe out of him. Does he get a Midas or does he just get Treads, Blink?
I don't think he buys Midas that often. Or if he does, it's after Blink Dagger, depending on how the game's going. He very highly prioritizes Blink, and I think for good reason, just because it allows you to solo kill these very underleveled supports that I think Cloud9 are going to start having some trouble with. They've even rotated Pylai bottom to say, look, our Wisp needs this. Otherwise, he's never going to hit 6. So with that being said, it means that it frees S4 up in the middle lane to continue his farm, do whatever he needs to. The Morphling actually has less CS than him right now, and because they had to rotate Envy top in order to compensate for, well, I guess no one being there.
Sing Sing. The arrow.
Yeah.
That arrow animation always looks peculiar to me.
Looks like a load of jizz.
Thank you, Shane.
No problem.
I would never see Sacred Arrow the same way.
The Cloud9 definitely have their work cut out for them this game, though, to recover from that kind of a start.
It's a lot on Sing Sing, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure because he's one of them heroes that can fight in the mid game and do exceptionally well with even very little farm.
Yeah, Mirana's one of those heroes that, as a comeback mid-gamer, not bad.
Yeah, pretty good actually.
Randomly finding pickoffs here and there. And back on the top lane, looks like Batrider, perhaps a little bit trouble. Nah, he's grand. Glimpse back on the mid lane. Looks like he's already leave. Oh, the Terran movement speed got him out of the arrow. Not going to hit.
Ooh.
Might not have gotten the kill regardless, but...
So the good things for Cloud9 right now are the fact that Bone 7 is still getting some good farm, Sing's still getting some good farm. So not all is lost during the early game. They're still getting some out of it. They're going to have to rely, though, I think, on making some pretty big plays to get themselves back into a firm position. Because already S4 has had a better game than I think they anticipated him having. which can end up having some pretty bad consequences for Cloud9. But regardless, game's going to slow down a bit. No more crazy between Tier 1 and Tier 2 dives coming out.
So something that I mentioned during the drafting stage is if you look at Tree and Protector right now, he's almost level 5. It's always the same thing for Alliance. Tree gets levels. And against a Latrak that likes to do chip damage with Edict, at least for now, all of that, for example, the top Tier 1 tower, it's going to get healed back
This is an EGM tree as well.
Yeah.
The last game we saw Ake playing it.
That
So-
means he's going to have like a Blink
Everything.
Dagger and a Radiance and a Mask of Madness or something,
He's
right?
over 50% of the way to Blink Dagger. Like,
That's insane when you say it like that. 7 minutes in, it's over 50% way to Blink here.
And Pylai Dai is just like attached himself to this cliff over here, looking at the Centaur longingly. He's like, please give me this experience. I need it so bad.
Oh. Those balls, man.
You can't take EGM's farm, man. He's just going to tree punch it.
oh, we got
Oh,
it.
he got it. Wow.
Nicely
Okay.
done.
Cool.
Pylai Dai desperately needs
And now
that
he might
ball.
die. Yeah. Oh, tethered in
tether
replay.
away.
All right.
Nice. I thought that didn't get you out of the pounce, but apparently it does.
Tether OP.
It's a very strange skill. It works on some things and other things not all. Like, surely Leap to me seems like it could get away from a tether.
Does not.
It doesn't, though, no.
You can't jump so hard you get out of like a chain.
can.
I don't know. Maybe.
Have you seen the lion that Sing Sing is riding?
Okay, fair. It's fair enough.
So you're saying like different mounts
Yeah,
could jump away from bounce?
Depending on your cosmetics.
Dota 2 pay to win, you know?
All right, so still 3-0. Cloud9, though, there's something to be said for the way that they're farming now. Now that the game has kind of slowed a bit, they're starting to get their groove back, more or less. So they're getting farm on Envy. They have the 3 highest in terms of last hits right now in the game, and they still have the 2 highest overall net worths. So even with that kind of awkward start, they're still doing well.
Yeah, but that's like saying, you know, well, what I'm trying to say is this is the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Because you don't pick Slark to stay in the lane and farm.
You do
Once
not.
he gets the blink, he goes ham. And
Oh,
Envy,
top lane.
perhaps a little bit of trouble.
Has no
but,
mana. I think
but-
Bulldog can just walk over him.
I mean, that's what he's trying to do now. But here comes ADI 2000, and I'll zone him away. You don't lose much here. And it looks like MVY is going to go for the stun. Pretty easy stun. Okay, never mind.
He's learned his lesson, man.
Oh.
No more diving.
Any glimpse? The
Highlight
glimpse is going
eye.
to be a high-level glimpse, and Pai's going to be dead again. I like how Ake just didn't attack there and made sure Bat Rider got the last hit.
Even though he didn't.
Yeah, he died to creeps.
Yeah. Well, that's on
He's
as a
actually
Bulldog, you know?
such a support player that he'll give the kill to creeps over taking it himself. That's how much he's willing to sacrifice.
Hashtag dedication. Eternal Envy is saving up quite a lot of gold.
Yeah, I wonder if he's actually still going to go Midas.
Or Rush Shotgun.
I think this feels like a Midas one.
Yeah, I think it's a
Okay,
Midas
okay.
too.
Yeah, it
it
is.
is. So I think that's still okay because Alliance don't actually have the greatest team at pushing right now. And they know that Alliance don't have any issues slowing down the game a bit. So I don't think Midas is too much of an inherent risk for them. The only thing that is what Lumi said earlier is that the Slark will want to try to go for kills. That's the only thing that kind of slightly worries me. But no, Slark's going Midas as well. So it looks like
no.
both teams going to just sit back and play the creep hitting game.
Personally, I'm not a big fan of Slark going for Midas. But, I mean, you pick the hero to fight, right?
Well, he also is still very level reliant. Like, all of his abilities are amazing.
Sure.
And you want level 3 of your ult. Like, Shadow Dance is disgustingly good.
Oh, he's going for a kill. He
Oh, he
can't
knows. He just hit him with a spirit. Okay.
back it off. That's a DD.
That is indeed a DD.
And he knows they've no vision of that as well because his ulti is still on.
Yeah, how awesome is that? Like, playing in a higher level game,
As a Slark.
as a Slark, you just like, yep,
Yeah.
here's their wards.
Well, we were playing pubs a few weeks ago and you picked them and you're like, oh my god, I can find every ward.
That hero's a god. Not actually a god.
Slark God confirmed. Lumi
He's
2014.
he's a fish.
He's a fish god.
I expected more from a fish god, to be honest.
Maybe. But Envy continues his reign at the top of the net worth here. Just continually hitting the creeps, man.
Considering the way that they started the game with all those failed ganks and deaths and lane switching, not too bad. It looks like they're going to get a tier 1 tower out of that as well. Living Armor is going to have something to say about that, but Edict's one of those spells that's like, yeah, you could heal. I'll come back.
All right.
Overgrowth's going to be used here, Pylai Dai. Just like a casual walk up to Overgrowth. Pylai Dai was like, what was that about? Oh, Pounce just barely missing. Wall's going to get dropped. The vacuum's going to be there, but Shadow Dance is going to come out. Not going to get a single kill. Are they going to give the chase? That's the question. Sing looks like he has already teleported in. The arrows...
Cloud9 still has the DD. I don't know if you want to fight this if you're Cloud9.
No.
Well, he did use Shadow Dance, which is, in the beginning of the game, the biggest form of survivability that Slark has. Like later on, Leap becomes a lot better because you can just juke in and out of the fight. You know, you have more HP.
He still had Leech Seed and Living Armor.
Yeah. I suppose it would have been close because the Darkseer was there too, so the Living Armor doesn't really mean that much.
Yeah, so one thing I do want to talk about Darkseer's skill build, some players like to get the wall. Some players like to skip it completely to level 10 or 11.
Yeah.
You get the wall if you want the extra nuke essentially, because it's just 150 extra damage, even without the vacuum.
I don't know.
Oh, Sing.
Lasso. I mean, it's going to be a fairly easy kill because you can't leap away from him. In fact, he's going to go for a kill on Ake. The overcharge, keeping himself a little bit of HP, but it's not going to be enough. The glimpse is going to be back there, and Pylite that should die again. Looks like the Flamer has actually missed, but he's just so slow, and he's going to get right-click down. How many times have Pylite died this game?
I can answer that question. 4.
You know what's really sad about that is when they went in originally, they only planned on killing Sing. They didn't plan on getting another kill.
Yeah.
Because Sing knew that if he leapt away, the Disruptor would have just glimpsed him regardless, so he leaped in to potentially Starstorm, but his Starstorm was on cooldown for still 2 seconds when he died. So Pylite dies there, and he's like, oh, I didn't have to glimpse because the Miranda leaped in, but TP coming top.
Tower is going to get mastered by AI 2000.
No,
they can't get it. Tower's going to get denied by S4. They still get the hero kill. I think Envy went it out a little bit too early because he had Replicate, right?
Yeah.
It should be safe.
He should click at least once or twice.
Yeah.
Because they don't actually have, with Razor and Slark, they don't have too much lockdown.
I think both of them thought that AI was going to get it.
With the Edict, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the mistakes continue for Cloud9.
Piling up.
Yeah, I mean, I really just think at the beginning, if they didn't so aggressively dive those 2 times, that they would be in a much better spot right now. Because it shows how well they're farming, that their lineup was meant to be able to do a lot more than it has been. Oh, Loda's going to find Pylite die again. He's still got 1 second of the napalm on. He needs to get to the creep wave.
And TP, what a play. Flame break is going to get him. And Pylite die will die again.
Ooh. Oh, Aki. Just ninjas above him.
Okay, so there is something that I do want to point out here. As many times as Pylite has died, Ake is barely ahead of him in experience. So if we're counting on the Wisp as that hero who really only teleports in and is used for just relocate, he's still getting almost the same experience as a hero who's been involved in 6 kills.
While Bone 7 was in the jungle, they sent Pylite Die to get solo experience for him.
And Pylite died, the reason that he's died so many times because he's taking aggressive stand in the lane.
To get the experience, yeah.
So it's not really paying off for him, but it's not too bad. But here comes the smoke gank. And Admiral Bulldog, aside from that gank at mid lane, for Sing, he's been fairly active over the lane, got another kill on the Wisp on the bottom, and now looking for more. They know that Sing's in jungle. And they're going to get him right there. All leap away.
Yep.
Blink Dagger to follow things up. There's a glimpse. They don't even delete it just yet, and Sing's going to be dead. It
They
feels
just
too
dropped
easy.
everything on him.
It feels too easy. Here comes the anti-gank of sorts.
I don't know if this is a good idea. They still have
It's not.
Static Storm.
It's not. Oh no, he's going to be dead again. They thought the mech was going to be
dead
enough.
too.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay.
All right, so it's 15 minutes in. Cloud9 have yet to get a kill. And it's 11 kills going away at Alliance.
So this is Alliance's first tower that they're trying to take now, though, as well. So you could argue that they're not too far behind as far as towers go. So
I think the towers will come, especially for a Bat Rider. Once you eliminate a hero with your lasso combo, you could just go in and get towers. So I don't think it's a big concern that they're just grabbing the first one,
okay.
especially when they're up 11-0.
Oh, they're gonna.
Tower denied, not going to be there. Man,
Gets
that's
it.
force on point.
It's plays like this that actually make the game mentally difficult. You know what I mean? Like especially the one top and then middle.
Yeah.
When you're relying on this and you think you have it and then it's just taken away. It actually screws with your head. Like.
I feel like everything that could possibly go wrong for Cloud9 is going wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I guess the only thing that's going okay is Morphling's farm is there.
Yeah.
Sing's farm's not bad too,
Yeah,
but
it's
obviously he's
pretty
died
good.
a couple of times, so.
I just think it's a matter of stemming the losses, right? Like, just try not to get picked, try not to get caught out of position anymore, because that's really where the lead comes from Alliance.
And of course, Alliance, deep ward in the dire jungle really helps out against those relocate if you can see it coming. As well as Moonlight Shadow. Somebody might be farming that spot thinking the
So-
Moonlight Shadow is okay.
Bulldog has Blink Force at 16 minutes.
Relocate, it's gonna happen somewhere on the map. It's gonna be on the top lane. They're going for Batrider. This is a very, very tough kill, but let's see if they can get it.
Aki's there with the
Static Storm's gonna be there, and all of them's gonna die again. Sing Sing, can he make it out? No, he
my
can't.
God.
Double kill goes on S4.
They still have Glimpse to kill a third.
Oh no. AI 2000, he's just running the other direction.
I think he...
My question is, that was such a low percentage kill. Why did Cloud9 really go for it?
Maybe they felt like they had to go for something. Like the game, they see an opportunity, right? The Batrider already used Firefly. His blink was on cooldown when he went in. Okay, this maybe we can kill, right? Like I guess that's their mentality when they go in. But it did not work.
No.
And Loda is going to get his hands on that blink dagger that he loves so much. But he got it after the Midas, but he hasn't been needed in the game, like at all.
No. Well, he did rotate quite a few times early.
Well, he TP'd once, right? And
no,
then,
on mid as well.
Yeah, okay, so he TP'd 2 times, but that's all he's needed to do. Like that's his killing contribution to the team of Alliance thus far. But that also means that he gets to do whatever he wants on the map, which is quite nice.
I guess a secret thing that we can't really say too much because it doesn't apply to the scoreboard is it's very hard to send a hero to the bottom lane and stop him from farming.
That's true.
Because if you harass him, he goes in a shadow and it regenerates his HP up. You always are afraid of him just pouncing on you and killing you.
Yeah.
I think Morphling is the only hero that could do that. And well, he's here, but you know.
I think Loda wants blood as well.
I mean, I would if I were him. He's level 11.
And Pilot dies.
And a free tier 1 given away to Alliance as well. S4 was up there in the top lane, managed to help take it down.
I think that's just really what Batrider could bring to the table. Like, if he's missing on the map, it makes really Tower very, very difficult to defend. And also, you don't want to take fights into them because Ake has been able to get so many kills via Glimpse.
Yeah.
So many extra kills via Glimpse.
So Aki has 2k gold. I presume it's just going to be a 4-staff or something like that. Maybe a Blink Dagger, actually. Yeah, Blink Dagger. It's extremely good on Disruptor.
I think, who was it from NAR who always did that? Whitebeard?
Yeah,
right?
Whitebeard, yeah.
Or not NAR, SNA.
Yeah, SNA.
Sneaky Nix Assassins, yeah. And he showed how good it could be in the qualifiers for TI4.
Here comes Admiral Bulldog, they'll find Wisp, and he is dead.
They have Glimpse just to bring him back.
They'll boost him back a little bit too far, and he'll walk away from the kinetic field as well. The first gank, that's not going to get a kill. I say that, though. S4, he comes in, and he's going to give chase.
Never going to stop.
He's moving so fast. Oh, he's stopping the turn.
Okay, so S4 just finishes Aghanims at 19 minutes in.
With a drum.
With drums. And Ake, or excuse me, EGM has his mechanism done. And he's almost level 9, which is very impressive for a tree, to be honest. Like, yeah, of course his team's ahead, but he hasn't really been the one who's involved in kills. So he's not really gaining the bonus experience from that.
Well, he is 2-0-0.
Yeah.
Okay, Andy, you're one of the Alliance players. You're winning really hard right now. You're thinking to yourself, how can I lose this game?
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Well, I still think that Cloud9 is a threat in the sense that Envy is still farming exceptionally well, and you don't want to get too complacent and, you know, mess up like one really big fight, give away Roshan or something like that, you know, kind of like what Cloud9 did in game 1, where they took a fight because of overconfidence and ended up losing it. I think that could still happen to Alliance potentially, and then maybe Cloud9 can make something happen. So,
Lasso is going to find Morphling this time. He will have to strength more, but he is, like you said, very tanky and very hard to kill. Here comes the Wisp giving him a little bit of survivability.
Beautiful.
In fact, they might turn things around finally. Can they get the first kill? Bulldog's going to make it out of there, though. And meanwhile, Envy on the back line, he's dropping very low. Overgrowth's not going to be enough. He's going to end up dying, I think. Yes, in fact, he will. S4 in the front line's going to get Sing Sing as well. He sees AUI. He's going to get AUI. That's going to be a triple kill. S4 is beyond godlike.
GG!
Whew.
Holy cow. Okay.
It's been a long time since
Not
I've seen
a kill.
A perfect game. A perfect game. Alliance brings it in front of their home crowd.
The last time I actually saw something like this was at one of the DreamHack finals, and they were playing against, I want to say it was Quantic. It was Alliance playing against Quantic Gaming, and I think the ending score was 22 or 23-0. Absolute insane performance out of the home team. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Like, if you don't lose a single hero the whole game and you win, it's a pretty good game.
Now, Cloud9's not out of the tournament yet,
Right.
but you don't want to be going to the losers because losers as a grueling place to fight back up.
Well, not just that, but you have to imagine, since we move the losers games to tomorrow,
Yeah.
that means you're playing potentially a best of 3, another best of 3,
And then a best of 5.
and then a best of 5.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's for Mousesport as well as Empire.
Yeah.
One of those teams potentially could play all of the games tomorrow.
Yeah, it's really not a place that you want to be at all, but all the credit in the world to Alliance. I felt like, again, Cloud9